Hello! Friday. Let's talk magic. Specifically, let's talk magic and society. So, magic is not widely accepted as a reality in society. We all know this. This gives magic sort of an odd place. How does it relate to a society that doesn't really acknowledge it or believe it? How do we relate to it? And there are a few different models. Sometimes people who are in these models feel like this is how magicians, witches, sorcerers, whatever, should be. Like the real people are this. And then other people, and so they judge people based on that. But really, magic is what you use it for. So the first model I like to think of is as a tool for survival, right? And so in this, you have magic is a tool of the oppressed. And it is. It often is. If society is coming down on you, if society is denying you access to the justice system, or if it's not even providing a justice system, well, this is where curses and things come from. This is where some secret societies that have nefarious reputations, this is, they can come from this lack of access to the mainstream justice system. It's somewhere for people to turn. Think about the beginning of The Godfather, people are turning to The Godfather for justice. I like to think of spells that have been used to keep men true, right? You will love me, and you will stay with me, or you'll be cursed, or you'll die, right? And so I used to think, wow, that you've got to be kind of a really clingy or terrible person to do this terrible thing. But if you just take a second and you place yourself into the mind of someone in a traditional society, maybe, women are allowed to work, or there's not jobs available for them, or just simply you've spent years taking care of the kids and the husband worked and now the husband takes off, leaving you high and dry. Well, there's a lot more going on here than just love and jealousy or clinging. There's survival, right? There's survival in an oppressive system. So magic is a tool of the oppressed. It's a survival tool. But magic can also be a tool of subversion. I remember I was in my 30s, I had just bought a house, I had gotten married, and I invited a friend from Philadelphia from my more bohemian days of, just running an OTO group from my living room and letting people, flop on the couch for whenever, and you know what I'm saying. So he comes and he visits, he looks around, after a couple days he's like, you're getting to be pretty square. Like, are you still a magician? Are you still... And the thing is, for him, magic is this thing that is counterculture. And for me, it was never that. I remember a friend of mine, Al Billings, he was working for Microsoft, and someone, this is back in the LiveJournal days, went after him, how can you work for Microsoft and be a witch or a pagan? It doesn't make any sense. And, Al Billings and most of us were like, your question doesn't make any sense. But for him, it did. Because for him, witchcraft, magic, this was a wild thing outside of society meant to either provide a counterculture or to subvert the mainstream culture. And you know what? That's fine. That's needed too. So you've got the survival tool, you've got the subversion tool, but it's also a success tool. It's also for people who are fully invested in society. people who are using it to rise up through society. There was another author who once said, you don't make a deal at the crossroads to live a life that looks like everybody else. But I would submit that some people do exactly that. That it's not as easy for some people to get along all right. To live the American dream or what have you. So they're not necessarily surviving as the oppressed, and they're definitely not subverting. They're using magic to succeed. They're using it as an aid to do the things within society that they want to do. And then if they excel at this, then like, I don't know, John Dee or Merlin, which, not real, but it's the archetype that I'm talking about. The person who gets the ear of the king. Gandalf, I suppose. And they're not against society, and they're definitely not oppressed by it. They're actually whispering in its ear, guiding it a bit, but they're fully invested in it. So they came up through it. So what the hell is my point? Why am I even saying this? Well, for one thing, a lot of us get caught up in how we relate to society, and we judge other people by this. I'm very involved in wealth magic and financial sorcery, write books, teach classes about it. And I've seen people say, well, that person can't be very good at magic because they're struggling, financially. But that's BS. Because if that's not what they're interested in, if that's not what they're putting their magic towards, then why would you judge them on that? Now, I mean, for sure, if you keep having the same repetitive problems and it's keeping you from doing the things you want to do in life, it's something you should deal with. But you can't judge a magician by their pocketbook. Similarly, I've seen recently a few posts like, well, how can that person be a magician? They're just, doing what everybody else does. They're working and raising a family and living the normal life. They're not this very special and outside the norm figure. And then you have other people that say, well, magic is really for the oppressed, and if you're not, then, you have no business in magic. But none of that, all of these things are real reasons for using magic, and none of them are the only reasons for using magic. So what I'd like you to do is just, realize that magic is for whatever you decide magic is for. And to maybe take a second and walk in the shoes of the people that look at it differently than you do. Because not only will it change the way that you think of how others are succeeding or not succeeding, but it will also help you understand some types of magic that maybe you didn't fully understand if you understand its relation to society. That's it. Have a good weekend. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, all that social media horse crap. Thanks.